History has kings, history has conquerors, history has people who changed the world forever. And then history has a teenager who looked at nuclear physics and said, yeah, I can do that in my backyard. This is the story of David Hahn, also known as the Radioactive Boy Scout, and it is one of the most unbelievable "how did this even happen" stories in modern history. And yes, it's real. David Hahn grew up in Michigan in the 1980s. He was smart, curious, and absolutely obsessed with science. Not the build a volcano for the science fair kind of science. The I'm going to read nuclear chemistry textbooks for fun kind. He was also a Boy Scout, which is important because this entire story feels like what happens when you take the Boy Scout motto way too seriously. Be prepared for radiation. As a teenager, David became fascinated with nuclear energy. Not nuclear weapons, not explosions, nuclear reactors. He wanted to build one, at home, in his backyard. Now most people hear nuclear reactor and think government clearance, billion-dollar facilities, teams of scientists, multiple people saying, this is a terrible idea. David heard nuclear reactor and thought, I bet I can figure this out from library books. And somehow, he wasn't wrong. David started collecting radioactive materials, not illegally, not secretly, just creatively. He extracted americium from smoke detectors. He pulled thorium out of camping lantern mantles. He scavenged radium from old clocks. He literally drove around town buying everyday items that, when combined, slowly turned his backyard shed into a glowing nightmare. And nobody stopped him. Not his parents, not the stores, not the government. Because why would anyone assume a teenager was casually assembling radioactive elements like Pokemon cards? Inside a small shed behind his mother's house, David built what he believed was a breeder reactor. He stacked radioactive material, he used lead shielding, he used instruments he built himself. And here's the wild part. By scientific definitions, he actually succeeded. He created a setup that produced neutron radiation, meaning he got dangerously close to creating a functional nuclear reaction. Not a bomb, but still, absolutely not something that should exist next to a lawnmower. David knew radiation was dangerous, he just underestimated how dangerous. He started getting sick. He felt fatigued. He experienced burns and nausea, which to most people would be a sign to stop. To David, it was apparently a sign to adjust the experiment, because of course it was. Eventually, things got so radioactive that David decided the best solution was to dump the materials. So he packed his radioactive collection into his car, yes, his actual car, and drove around at night trying to dispose of it. At one point, police pulled him over, and this is where the story officially enters sitcom territory. The police noticed strange equipment in the trunk. They asked what he was doing. David, thinking fast, told them he was collecting materials for a Boy Scout project, which is technically true. In the same way that saying, I'm doing arts and crafts, technically describes building a nuclear reactor. The police let him go, because why wouldn't they? Eventually, David abandoned the materials in a ditch, and that's when things finally went off the rails. The EPA found the site. Radiation readings were thousands of times above normal. They traced it back to David's backyard, and suddenly the government showed up, not politely, in hazmat suits. The backyard was declared a Superfund cleanup site. The shed was dismantled, the soil was removed, barrels of radioactive waste were hauled away. The cleanup cost over $60,000 and David wasn't arrested. Because technically, he didn't break any laws, which might be the most unsettling part of this entire story. David became famous overnight. Newspapers called him the Radioactive Boy Scout. Scientists were horrified. The public was confused. The government quietly updated some regulations, and David tried to live a normal life. Unfortunately, the story doesn't end on a funny note. David struggled afterward. He faced mental health challenges. He had trouble holding jobs. He never fully escaped the shadow of what he'd done. In 2016, David Hahn died at age 39, not from radiation poisoning, but his life was undeniably shaped by a moment where curiosity went unchecked. So what's the takeaway here? It's not that science is bad, it's not that curiosity is dangerous. It's that sometimes intelligence plus zero supervision equals a federal cleanup operation. This story sounds fake because it should be fake, But it isn't. A teenager built a nuclear reactor in his backyard. The government found out after, and the rules only changed because of him. History didn't prevent this. History just watched it happen. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe for more history fails that sound fake but aren't. Because sometimes the scariest stories aren't about villains. They're about really smart people with way too much free time.